It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why.
Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. Welcome back, JavaScript Nation.
Thank you, Airhorn Guy.
Thank you, Airhorn Guy.
He fell asleep there for a minute.
Yes, exactly. Nick, I have a question for you.
Fire away.
What are you afraid of?
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever been afraid that somewhere in the world
Yes.
a duck is watching you?
No?
Because then you might have anatidophobia.
Okay. Well, now I might be afraid that somewhere that a duck is watching me, but why a duck specifically?
I don't know. But that is what spawned this episode.
Yes.
Is weird phobias.
Yes. Nick suggested this in the Discord a very long time ago, and we're finally addressing it.
Literally like 10 months ago.
Yes, exactly. So this has been on the wheel for quite some time. So we are going to be discussing weird phobias, and I'm really proud of myself for coming up with the title of this episode,
Woo!
The Fearful Earful.
I was going to say no spoilers, but they'll already have seen it before this.
Yeah, duh.
Because if you're listening to this, you should have been watching. You should have been looking at the thumbnail art, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Even if you watch it on YouTube, it's right there. Right?
Right there.
Yeah. So,
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, like, comment, and subscribe.
Turn on notifications.
Check out our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Anyway, so
I thought it was NordVPN for this one.
I think it's oh god, what's that meal service? The freaking
Factor or HelloFresh.
HelloFresh. Yes.
You know, I tried
Blue
HelloFresh. I tried HelloFresh for a while, and it's great, except for the fact that my ADHD wouldn't allow me to make the meals because I would order it, think it was a great idea, it would get here, and I'd be bored.
That's true.
But the good thing about it, I've got a collection of recipes. I've got a collection of recipes.
You
so I
just
can
steal a
make them
menu
myself.
from each restaurant that you go to.
No.
Well, now you know, restaurants. If a menu is missing, Nick's probably nicked it. Hey. Anyway, so moving on to the weird phobias, which is, I guess now a restaurant's phobia is you stealing their shit.
Would that be like menu
Menulossophobia?
Menulossophobia?
Menulossophobia. We're going to be discussing this week weird phobias. So it's not going to be like the quirky, oh, I'm afraid of the deep dark water, like thalassophobia. Everyone has thalassophobia.
Well, it's like this one. So, shout out to Women's Health Magazine, which apparently is the website I chose to go through weird phobias.
Sure.
But their first one is taphophobia, which isn't a weird phobia. It's a phobia we all have. It's the fear of being buried alive.
Literally, though.
Everyone has that.
And also, like, the fear of tight spaces. What is that? Claustrophobia?
Oh yeah, claustrophobia. Yeah.
So
that's a very legitimate fear. The fear of heights.
Exactly. So I'm acrophobic, which is the fear of heights, right? Yeah. And so if I am on a tall building, right, that has big windows looking out,
or the glass floors, even worse.
So and the stupidest things is this: people have a premonition about whenever you have a legitimate psychological fear, and they're like, you think that you're afraid of that all the time. So whenever I say I'm acrophobic, I'm scared of heights. Oh, well, you travel on airplanes.
Yeah, but that I don't feel, because here's the thing.
Shut up.
I don't have a fear of heights. I have a fear of what will happen if I'm suddenly no longer at that height.
Yes, exactly. I can have a fear of heights, not a fear of flying, because a fear of flying is a completely different fear.
Absolutely.
Because when my window is shut, right?
Yep.
Or even if I'm looking out the window, but I feel that, the ground is rising up with me, right?
My mind can't comprehend 35,000 feet.
No, it can't, yeah.
In Vegas, we're at 3,500 feet. And even that is quite a height.
Yeah.
I'm from a place where it is literally at sea level.
Would you ask somebody if they, okay, so we know that Denver is the mile-high city, right? It's a mile above sea level. Would you ask somebody who's acrophobic living in Denver, why aren't you scared? That's such a stupid question, isn't it?
Well, we all know the reason. It's because they're all joining the Mile High Club.
No. Actually, air horn. I'm trying to make a serious point here, Nick. Okay. Has it been? Did we just involuntarily reveal that you are air horn guy? Come on, you can find it.
Oh my
That's not the one I'm
Nope.
looking for. What's the one I'm looking for? That's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This is like at the end of the last episode where I put the voice modulator on instead of playing the theme song.
We're still failing at this, even 23 episodes in, aren't you? Okay. No. Remember, we set it to only your mic, right? So whenever you press this,
Hello?
yeah, it's you. It's not me. It's not me. It's you.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I was going to say, I can't. Before you said it, I was like, what is it?
Anyway, so moving on to
I'm the problem, it's me.
you know what's funny? When I visited Madame Tussauds in New York City, I know that's just a stupid thing to do because we have a Madame Tussauds in Vegas.
So,
right?
I've never been to the one in Vegas. I've only
Yeah.
been to the one in London.
So when I visited the Madame Tussauds in New York City, I bought a hat that says, "I'm the problem, it's me."
Nice.
Yeah. So, anyway, moving on.
So
to
you're
my
in your
thing.
wax figure era?
Yes. So we are going to be moving on to a very disgusting fear,
Oh.
right? But since it's a psychological fear, it's valid,
Fair.
right? But it's disgusting.
Okay.
And it's called ablutophobia, which is the fear of bathing.
Oh, I thought it was the fear of balloons. I don't know why.
Sure?
Well, that would make
Okay.
sense because ablutions is like cleaning.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a very
makes-
old way of saying it.
Yeah.
But
It makes more sense than one of your fun facts. I think it was your third fun fact when you mentioned hippopotamonstrossus cryptolophobia.
well done. Fair. And that's better than I did because I don't think I could say it.
You can't even say anemone.
That word is my enemy.
Wants to be my enemy. Oh, the misery.
Da, 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 da.
Do you watch Arcane, Nick?
Okay, and what?
Moving on. What's your next? What's your next phobia? Did
You can't just throw me into that.
Did you forget? What'd
About
you
what?
forget? Got a light. That's a reference to Rent, the musical.
Oh, I only know the 525,600 minutes.
Yeah.
525,000.
So this is a treat.
600 minutes.
I'm taking that sound effect away
Please
from you.
no. Please no. I love that sound effect.
I'm taking that away from you.
Fine,
Okay.
I'll get back to business.
Okay. Because remember,
To defeat the host.
Anyway, God, focus, Gerard. Jesus.
I'm done. If
So,
I could walk out right now, I would.
I mean, you could. It'd take a while because we'd have to pack up the equipment. But you could.
This is on the same par as when you were like reciting the movie titles. I got tears in my eyes. Anyway, move on. Move
So,
on.
do you have isotropophobia?
Isoptrophobia? No, I
Yes.
don't.
Oh, so you don't fear mirrors?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Or
I
more
like looking
specifically-
at myself, Nick.
Fair.
Yeah.
So it's more specifically the seeing your own reflection in a mirror.
Okay.
So,
So you're a dog, basically.
looking into American cause people with phobia.
Isoptrophobia.
That one too.
Yeah.
and an shame or distress and can
Okay.
lead to depression.
You know what? Whenever I look at myself in the mirror, I also get shameful and depressed. But I always do it because I have a big ego.
I don't feel shame or depression. I just think, damn, I'm looking good. I'm just kidding.
Whenever I look at myself in the mirror, I'd be like, "Damn, I really got to lose this belly fat."
No, I just think, what am I going to have for breakfast today?
And sometimes I have myself up. I look at myself from the side and like see how big my gut has gotten, and I'm like, "Yeah, it could be worse."
It didn't stop me from having corn dogs for breakfast this
Yeah.
morning, so I can't have that big of a fear of it.
You know what's funny? Because somebody has the Jimmy Dean pancakes and sausage corn dog in our break room.
That's exactly what I had this morning.
Somebody keeps buying it, and I'm not complaining, right? I love them, right? But I don't know. Shout out to whoever's buying them in our office.
Shout out to...
Oh, was it she the one?
Yeah.
Damn. Because, says, who keeps buying this? I told you about that conversation, right? I was
Are we
like,
talking about the same person?
yeah.
The one on-
yeah.
On my side?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Glasses. Horse girl is what one of my one of my coworkers back at refers to her as.
Oh, no, not her.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You completely misheard the name that I said.
No, I know that you said
Yeah.
yeah. But I told you on Teams that, she was trying to strike up a conversation with me by saying like
yeah.
This is not like relevant to anyone who doesn't work with us.
And even if you do, you'll be like, who? What?
Yeah.
When, where, why, and how?
Yeah, exactly. So rumors will not be spread in our office because there's already enough rumors in there.
There's already enough.
Drama.
What's up, Drama Alert Nation? I'm your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right
In the news.
I was wondering where you would step in there.
I was just waiting for you to finish your bit.
Okay. All right. But yeah, so moving on to my fear. We had a little crash out. No, I'm just kidding.
I was never.
Because, okay, have you ever worked in an office where there's just somebody who's insufferable? Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Gerard, I'm right here.
I know, but it's fun to talk about you like out in the open, right? So, do you have linonophobia?
I hope not.
Well, that's probably because you're not a cat. It's the fear of string.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about string theory?
That's just a theory.
A string theory.
Shout out to our previous MatPat Power Hour. That was our longest episode on the roster, by the way, because we just had so much to say about MatPat.
It's our longest episode for now.
Are we gonna revisit like MatPat's game theory and or the theory channels, and it's gonna be MatPat's 2 power hour?
We could.
Yeah. 2 hour power?
For a
5 hour energy?
50th episode or 100th episode.
We could do that. I mean, okay, so we did that for our 22nd episode, so it's like
weird.
not matching. Yeah. So
44th episode.
I would have imagined our 22nd episode would have been about Taylor Swift because feeling 22. Yeah.
Fair.
But no, it's MatPat because MatPat is more important than Taylor Swift. I'm sorry to all the Swifties out there. I myself am a Swiftie, but MatPat is more important than Taylor Swift. I'm so sorry. She's near and dear to my heart, but you know how sometimes parents have favorite children clearly, but they don't ever say it. That's
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of MatPat than I am of Taylor Swift, even though I am still a diehard Taylor Swift fan. What are you doing? Thank you.
I was waiting for a live studio audience to react to that, but they weren't reacting.
You know what's funny? There was actually a game show where it was filling in the blanks of Taylor Swift lyrics. I got it 100%, even though because I think it was Beat Shazam. I don't know if you know that show. So Beat Shazam. Shazam is an app that's been integrated into the iPhone where it listens to music that's playing and then identifies the song for you. It's
great.
Yeah, wonderful app. So they turned it into a game called Beat Shazam where you beat Shazam. Basically, there was 30 seconds to identify or fill in the blanks for all Taylor Swift lyrics before Shazam identifies it within 5 seconds.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the whole premise of the show is to test your music knowledge, which I would kill because, I have amazing music theory.
To be fair, on your birthday when we did that music quiz, you were killing it.
Thank you.
If it wasn't for our friend's boyfriend, fiance, husband,
I don't know.
male companion,
Male companion. Yes.
coming home and just slaughtering all of us.
Yes.
Like, I lost and I was the host.
Yes. We won't mention her by name, but she has said that she would like to be on our podcast.
Exactly.
Right. So shout out to our certain redheaded friend.
Indeed.
Right.
If
Well,
you
she's-
notice a redhead appear on here,
Yes.
even though there's no video,
Yes. Well, actually, she's not a redhead anymore, Nick. She posted an Instagram story cutting her hair, and she's a brunette now. I know. Have you watched her story recently?
apparently not.
No. Dude, we're just talking about our personal lives here. Anyway, move on to your next phobia before we get sidetracked.
On to the next one.
and
This,
do a phobia hour.
wonder what the fear of hours would be.
I think it would be the fear of time.
I
Probably.
did try to look up the fear of not recording because we
Okay.
talked about that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it didn't exist. It brought up camera shyness, which isn't a fear. I mean, it is a fear, but it's not the fear I was looking for.
Duh.
So, ombraphobia
Okay.
is a fear that I'm glad that I don't have,
Okay.
because if I had it, I would have been miserable in England because it's the fear of rain.
Fear of rain.
Yes.
So Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten, right, would be like, just horrible to listen to. Feel the rain on your skin.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
The endless references to ironic is
do I-
just ironic.
Who do I keep thinking that?
Natalie Imbruglia, but it's written by
Also, not
Alanis.
Natasha Bedingfield.
I was wondering why you brought up ironic. I didn't know that you thought Natasha Bedingfield was the one who wrote ironic. No. So there's Natalie Imbruglia and there's Natasha Bedingfield, who you thought both wrote ironic at this point. And it's ironic that you still don't know or remember that it's Alanis Morissette.
Yep.
You probably need a jagged little pill to remember it.
That would be a hard pill to swallow.
I'm
I'm having
deleting
too
that.
much fun with that.
I'm deleting that from now on.
Please don't. I'm having fun with that button. It's a great little button.
Nope.
It's marvelous.
Oh my god.
So there's also natural environment phobias.
Okay.
Hurricanes, which is lilapsophobia,
Okay.
which isn't a weird phobia because we should all be scared of hurricanes.
Duh.
Snow, which
But
is
there are-
chionophobia.
There's like storm chasers who actively seek out
Yeah,
hurricanes
they're
and
just
tornadoes.
bloody
Yeah.
nutters.
Yeah.
Cryophobia, which is pretty obvious. That's fear of the cold.
Fear of the what?
And of cold.
Of the cold?
Yeah, cryo.
Oh, cry. I
Yeah.
thought it was like a fear of crying.
Fair.
I mean, that could be how it's interpreted. Not everybody knows the word cryogenic. Nick.
That would be depressophobia.
Oh my god. Okay. Depresso espresso phobia. That's the fear of not having espresso.
No, that's the fear of Sabrina Carpenter.
Exactly. All right.
And then one last one, ancriophobia, which is wind.
So there's cryophobia and cryophobia. Hey.
Return of the cryophobia.
Yes. It was Star Wars Episode 3 Return of the Cryophobia.
Nice.
Was it? Is it? Yeah, it is Return of the Jedi Episode 3, right?
No, it's...
Or am I thinking of episode? No, because it was
it's Phantom
Episode
Menace.
6.
It's Attack of the Clones.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the
Have you ever
Sith.
seen that video where the guy
Return
says...
of the Jedi is 6, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Have you ever seen that video where the guy says that the titles are in the wrong films?
Why?
And he reworks which position they should be in?
Okay.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Should I?
I'll try and find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But no, it's like the Phantom Menace should be 6 because of Palpatine or something like that. I can't remember. It's interestingly well
Okay.
worked.
All right. So moving on. So, phallophobia.
Oh, well, that sounds naughty.
It's funny that you say that, Nick, because it's the fear of belly buttons.
Oh, so... Anyway,
Every person in this world has a belly button, and yet, you're afraid to like lift up your shirt and be like, You know,
Help me.
or and yeah, it's funny that you say that because you know there are some people who you know have a belly button fetish, but we're not going to talk about that because that's literally where you are fed when you were developing inside your mother's womb. Come on.
So that would be the opposite of a phobia.
Yeah. People will use any hole these days.
Any holes a goal?
Why did I sound Scott these days?
These days.
It sounded like David Tennant's like, oh, I'm dazed and confused. I've been running around with this wee naked child over hill and over dale.
Fair.
Tell me, did I nail that Scottish accent?
You were all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you proclaim that? Hey.
No, but I would walk 500 miles.
Okay. And since you did 2, right, I'm gonna let's read another one, which is so nomophobia. Sorry, it was nomophobia, not nomanophobia.
You've got nomophobias?
Yeah, nomophobia. I think this is one that anyone can relate to, Nick, and it's something that we're doing right now. Actually,
Speaking?
no,
Existing?
no,
Breathing?
no. It's the fear of being without a phone.
Oh.
So we're on our phones right now.
I definitely have a fear of that.
Yeah. Then you have no, you have nomophobia if you have a fear of not. And I think for me, this is a fear that's been like it developed all throughout my adulthood because when I was a kid, right, I would have my phone stolen because I was bullied at school. If you guys didn't know, because I was this foreigner and I had an accent, and so yeah, that was a really personal thing. So don't make a joke of that, Nicholas. Right? So I was bullied as a kid, had my phone stolen, but I didn't really care, right, for the most part. But as I grew up, and you know, I had more contacts in my phone, and it's my only reliable source to like get to my parents and get to you know family members and get updates and shit. It's become a more important part of my life. And I think whenever I wake up and I wouldn't see my phone anywhere, I would like try to like, you know, unfurl my blanket and try to see if it's like hidden within that. And it's not. I would be like, whoa, no. And then I would literally like fix up my bed. And then I realized that I left it on a table or a chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, to charge.
See, my thing isn't even about communication because I'm from the generation that hates making phone calls, so it's like, don't call me anyway.
I only text, yeah.
See, it's a thing that we have in common, even though you're only 6 months old and I'm 5.5 billion years old. You know, it's common across the generations, except for that weird generation in the middle that liked making phone calls for some reason.
Yeah,
weirdos.
I mean, I think you would classify me more of a Zillennial than a Gen Z. You know,
Fair.
Yeah, because I relate a lot to what you know you millennials do.
I'm not a millennial. I'm like Triassic.
That's true. If you're 5.5, no, you were before the Hadean Eon, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came riding in on that meteor.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, no, you were the one who took that meteor and then just slapped together a bunch of rocks to form a planet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like the Newton's cradle of the universe.
Yeah. and you know, come to find out that you were just sweating for 20 million years, and that's how the oceans formed.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it was so hot.
That was a heavy period of cardio.
Is that why the ocean's so salty? That's gross, guys. Gross. Ew.
No, they're only salty because of my salt from playing video games.
That's true. Anyway,
moving on. So this one I definitely have.
Okay.
Well, maybe not, but well, actually, I actually have the fear of a lack of these things.
Okay.
Numerophobia, which is the fear of numbers. The reason I say I have a fear of the lack of these is because of algebra.
That's true.
Because they start throwing in sodding letters.
You know,
idiots.
When I was in high school and I first so I took biology in like over the summer school between 8th and 9th grade. So I was advanced onto like chemistry and physics. I took physics when I was a sophomore in high school.
Nice.
And I was like, I thought it was gonna be like all fun and games. No, it was like the delta sum of this freaking thing plus this equals the gravity of the force of the whatever. The only equations I remember for that is 1E equals mc squared because you know that's a famous equation. But also force equals mass times acceleration.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, because I don't know why I remember that formula so much. And in physics, right, it's all about at least to my professor, like you see clips on TikTok of like the fun physics classes, right, with like fun teachers
Setting things
and
on
professors.
fire and
No, my physics professor was old and he only drew equations on the board, right? And I learned a lot that a lot of physics is just taking an established equation and rearranging it to give it a new meaning. So if you want to find the mass instead of the force,
May the force be with you.
yeah, you just rearrange that equation. Yeah, you just rearrange that equation logically, and then you get mass equals force divided by acceleration. Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense with that sort of thing, but
yeah,
algebra is just so stupid.
Yeah.
I hate algebra.
I took pre-cal and like algebra 2 in high school. Imagine my surprise when not only did the letters start flooding in, but the Greek letters started
Oh yeah, when you
flooding
start
in.
getting to sodding epsilon.
Yeah.
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 It's so I took algebra in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then I get to 9th grade and I have to take algebra again.
Yeah.
And then I get to 10th grade and it's geometry,
Yeah.
which is algebra
Yeah.
with shapes.
Yeah.
And then I get
it was
to,
a lot of fun with geometry, And
then I get to junior. Well, geometry was fun except for the fact that my teacher kept having Vietnam flashbacks. And,
oh my God. Okay.
like, going into his own world and stopping at the blackboard or
Yeah.
the whiteboard. But then in junior year,
Yeah.
it's bloody algebra again. So then to get out of algebra,
Yeah.
in senior year, I decided to take trig stats, trigonometry statistics.
Yeah, that was one of the options for my high
Well,
school as well.
don't do
Yeah.
it. It's a trap because it was bloody algebra again.
Well, okay, here's the thing, right? So they said that statistics was like one of the easiest classes that you can do.
Which it is because statistics is fine. So here's the thing. Everyone thinks I'm bad at maths. I'm actually quite good at maths.
Uh-huh.
I'm bad at algebra.
Are you bad at PE? That's a Danny Pink reference from Dr. Who. The PE teacher.
I'm not necessarily bad at PE. I just have asthma. So.
Okay.
But so when you've got a class that if you don't do a below 15-minute mile, you fail. It's like
That's right.
This is kind
Yeah.
of disabilitist. Ableist. There you go.
Ableist, yeah.
Disabilitist.
Yeah. Disabilitist. Petition to rename ableism to disabilitism. Yeah.
So, but anyway, so my story about algebra because
Yeah.
it hasn't finished.
Okay.
So I left that class and decided to take criminal justice in the Wild West.
Ooh.
Because it was like
in the Wild West.
This is a much more interesting class.
This town ain't big enough for the both
But the both of
us.
us. So then I go off to college.
Okay.
Even though I took bloody... Well, no, actually, I was in international business at this point.
Okay.
So do you know what is required for international business?
Algebra.
Accounting and economics,
Oh,
which is
boy.
advanced algebra. So then to get into accounting and economics,
Yeah.
I had to take more algebra. I took one class of algebra, failed it. So then I had to take 4 more classes of algebra.
Yeah.
I ended up taking 8 sodding years of algebra.
Well, you know who else has to take a lot of algebra? Mermaids. They always wear an algae bra. That was a good joke, yeah. But yeah, so for me, right, when I was in, because I was algebra 2 in junior year of high school, and going into senior year, I was like, I had like 3 or 4 options, and it was like more algebra, pre-calculus, or like statistics, right, basically. And I was like, I think I'm going to go with statistics because that's what they said is the easiest. And then my teacher, this guy is he's an absolutely awesome guy, and coincidentally his name is Mr. Rogers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did he live in a neighborhood?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Anyway, so his name is Mr. Rogers. He was just the nicest guy. He's not the actual Mr. Rogers, right? Unfortunately.
Fake news.
Fake news. Yeah. But shout out to Mr. Rogers. If you even remember me, right? He had this like big ginger beard, and he was just the most wholesome guy. He's like,
Bless him.
Yeah, he's like, Gerard, I think you can do better. You should try pre-cal. And I'm like, ooh, pre-cal.
Okay, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. But I didn't want to like let him down because he believed so much in me.
Absolutely.
So I was like, okay.
That's the power of teachers.
Yeah, exactly. And they should get paid more.
Absolutely.
For that. Like you couldn't cut a teacher's pay when they've like when they believe in you and
Yeah.
things like that.
Do you know who
So-
should get the pay cut?
Who?
Is the
Yeah.
who did nothing but write equations on the board
Yes.
for an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking pre-cal, right? And that is the one that's giving me Vietnam War flashbacks.
Fair.
Because instead of like logical calculations, a lot of it is predictive calculations, right? And here's the thing, right? You draw parabolas all day, basically, right? And you don't work nearly as much with numbers as you do with like the Greek symbols.
See, this is when you know that maths has gone too far.
Yeah.
When you're not dealing with numbers.
Yeah.
It's mathematics. It's
Yeah.
bloody studying numbers.
Yes. So let me say this because I know it's probably going to get lost in my head. My mom used to be a math professor, right? Now she's a casino dealer. And she's using her math.
It's basically the same
Yeah,
thing.
basically the same thing, right? And she has a master's degree in mathematics.
Nice.
Right? And so I saw some of her old textbooks when I was like sorting through some of like our old stuff when I went back home to the Philippines, right? And at the very end of that textbook studies abstract algebra.
Is that when you start getting into imaginary numbers?
That's exactly correct.
Jesus Christ.
So-
It's bad enough that there's the real numbers didn't even get taught. You're going to sidestep the real numbers and go to bloody numbers that don't exist.
So I asked my mom about what is abstract algebra because it's all equations, right? And so I was like, and
God's
she's
sake.
like, oh, well, she tried to explain it, but like this was so long ago that she can't even like detail it anymore.
Jesus.
But here's the funny thing that I should brought up as just a last thing before you go back to the phobias, right? This is already such a long tangent, right?
That's fine.
But so
Should we
there's
find the slope of the tangent?
we better use the Sokotoa method.
Sokatoa!
Yeah. Anyway, so there's this book. I think it's it's called Principia Mathematica.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. So the Principia Mathematica, I think the first volume went into, I don't know if it's abstract algebra, but it was like very dense mathematical notation. And it's like a bunch of mathematical proofs. And it lasted about 300 pages, just for the first volume, mind you, to prove that 1 + 1 = 2. So it starts off like, if we imagine 1 as this, and we imagine 1 as this, and we imagine addition as this, then technically, if we can imagine this as this, then we can put this into this, and then at the end, like at the very end of the 300-page book, 1 + 1 = 2. That's the proof. Thank you, everyone. And that's not the only volume of Principia Mathematica. I think they plan to do 4 volumes, but they got so tired after writing 3 that they just gave up. And so, because Principia Mathematica was supposed to be like, because there was a math war not too long ago, right? Between the people who say that mathematics is not always logic, right? And the people who think that everything can be resolved using math logic. And that's why they wrote Principia Mathematica, to prove that anything in math can be used logically.
So they're the people who double majored in philosophy.
Probably, yeah. but with math, you know.
And then came in and they were like, but what is the number 1? Yeah. And then
it's
the
literally
mathematicians
that.
were like, but what do you mean it's the number 1? And then, it created a war.
And you know what? A lot of people were like, you don't really need the first 200 pages, because apparently the first 200 pages was just defining notations. And then they get to the last 100 pages, and that's when they actually do the proofs. So I think
Slowly beating myself to death with the microphone.
I think we moved past the fear of numbers and more of a resentment towards numbers.
Well, no, like I said, I have nothing wrong with numbers. It's when you start throwing letters in there. Because here's the thing, I'm great at English. I can BS you an essay in the next 10 minutes.
Yes.
But if you start asking me to add those letters together,
Yeah.
you can right off.
Yes.
Although one of my favorite jokes, well, it's not really a joke, it's about algebra. It's like, hey, algebra, stop asking us to find your x and don't ask why.
Yeah. Because asking why could, lead to some consequences. Is it your turn or is it my turn
I don't know, I've forgotten.
Let me just read another one here. Let me see. Ooh. How about this one? K or Che, CHAE, tophobia. So it's like cheetophobia or K-tophobia. Or
Is it a flaming hot phobia?
might be because if you think about frosted tips, right? Then it looks like flames, and that's probably a big giveaway to what this is a fear of.
The fear of hair?
Yes, the fear of hair.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, is it the fear of having hair, or is it the fear of hair appearing in unexpected places?
Let me see the details. So, people with this phobia often fear other people's hair and sometimes even animal hair. They may avoid people with thick curly locks or simply fear loose stray hair. Some may believe hair is dirty and that contact with it might make them sick. Others develop this phobia after struggling with scalp issues or hair loss.
Interesting.
So it's not about like having a fear of your own hair. It's about other people's or animal hair. Or like even touching their hair, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very tangled mess of a phobia.
Could be a hairy situation.
Yes.
So I just want to mention this one, not because it's a fear of the ocean or deep water. It's like we all have that.
Thalassophobia, we know.
No, because I read it as that assophobia. And I was like, what?
That assophobia, though.
So I just wanted to shout that out because that's the way that I read it.
Okay.
But the real one that I have is ephebiphobia, EPHEBI phobia.
What do you have against Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West?
You mean Absidy?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you know? This is going to make you mad, I think, because Elphaba's name, which is the name of the Wicked Witch of the West, is actually from the author's name, L. Frank Baum, the original author of The Wizard of Oz. His name is L. Frank Baum, LFB, so Elphaba.
Why did you do that to me?
I think you just broke some eardrums with that.
Because you've broken myself. You've literally driven me to the asylum.
Elphaba. Anyway, move on.
Ephebiphobia
Elphabophobia,
is a fear of teenagers or adolescents.
Okay, so are you afraid of me, Nick?
Oh no, you're not there yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm classified as an infant. Goo Gaga,
Indeed.
and all that shit.
Goo goo gaga, bitch.
Goo Gaga, bitch. Pull up, motherfucker. I'm gonna try to censor the one word that I don't want to say out loud. Pull up, motherfucker. Goo Gaga, bitch. Oh man.
So yeah, I'm not scared of you yet.
You will be.
Give it another 15 years before you actually become a teenager.
My voice hasn't even dropped yet.
No, your voice is closer to this.
Yeah, I know.
I would go back to the deep voice thing, but after it broke the episode, I'm scared of using that one.
So you have a deep voiceophobia. Instead of a fear, I might actually incite excitement among certain viewers or listeners when I make my voice all deep like this.
The Tumblr sexy man voice.
Yeah. Princess. No, I'm just kidding. That's a famous TikTok sound, somebody was just doing this. Oh my God. It was so hard to watch, but I couldn't stop watching it. And it was just this guy who was like, "Oh, princess, where are you?"
Oh God. I'm gonna go on to another phobia before.
Yeah, we probably could do a couple more before we move on to the phobia that the mother phobia. Yeah,
that's a mother phobia.
Anyway, the ultimate phobia, which is we saved at the end of this episode.
The fear of ultimatums.
Yes, exactly. If you are not with me,
You're against
you're my
me.
enemy. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Have you seen the?
I will do what I must. The
you-
musical version of it, yes.
Have you seen the? Do you know the cartoon Pinky and the Brain?
Yes.
So the voice actor for that,
Yeah.
along with Seth Green, who is
Okay.
the voice of Chris from Family Guy.
Oh no.
So it's Pinky as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Chris as Anakin.
Okay.
I'll show you it after this because it
Of
is
course. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
And you know, and I was saying about like the musical version of that fight. You should listen to it. It's great. I'll show you that one
Fair.
after this one as well.
Did you know, a bit of random tangent?
Yeah.
Did you know there's a burlesque version of Star Wars coming to Vegas?
Oh. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised because there's a show at the Horseshoe Casino called Potted Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, these two guys just summarize all of Harry Potter on stage.
But no, it's called The Empire Strips Back.
Okay.
So yeah, when I said burlesque version, I wasn't lying. It's not just a stripped back version, it's a stripped back version.
We need the
Bow, chicka, bow, wow.
Yeah. We need the wow 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 wow. I've been really
Exactly.
trying, babe.
We need to get that on the soundboard.
Yes. But to be fair, I've forgotten to add a lot of the sounds that we
I know.
yeah.
And you know the worst part about it
What?
is I forgot on the ones that you forgot. So I can't even tell you to add them because I forgot
Yeah.
what they were.
So a self note while we're recording.
Hey, Gerard of the future.
Yes, Gerard of the future.
This is
If
your
you're-
conscience speaking.
This is your past coming back to haunt you. I don't know what character that was.
I don't know either.
Anyway, so what was the other phobia that we're
yeah.
gonna get into?
Aerophobia.
Aerophobia. Okay,
It's the fear of fresh air.
I figured because acrophobia is the fear of heights, you know. So I was like, aerophobia must have something to do with the wind, right? So, okay, so the fear of fresh air.
Apparently, blowing or fanning air on a person with rabies can trigger muscle spasms. Interesting. I don't know what that has to do with the phobia, because if you've got rabies, surely you're not thinking straight enough to have a phobia.
Well, I mean,
But-
you can have a fear of rabies.
Rabidophobia?
Yeah. You're just foaming at the mouth, like, "Oh, please, please, I'm so scared."
I'm so scared, but I might eat you.
Somebody's gonna clip us doing the
Well, they weren't until you gave them the idea.
not before we no clip them out of
Into the
reality.
back rooms.
Yeah. Anyway,
Alectorophobia,
electoral.
which is ALEKTORO phobia.
Is that the fear of Alec Baldwin?
No, only one person in the world had that. That's a
Okay.
really dark joke. I shouldn't have made that.
Oh.
Anyway.
And we're not going to talk about Rust here, okay?
Yep, moving on swiftly.
Moving on.
Damn it, whiskey. That's your fault for making that joke.
How much whiskey did you have before?
Just a tipple.
Just a tipple. Is that a
mean-
technical term?
I'll show you on the glass.
Okay.
Like,
That's
There-ish?
not a tipple.
it's just a little bit.
That's not a tipple, though.
It was like a triple.
It wasn't
maybe-
a tipple. It wasn't a tipple. It was a triple.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Anyway, moving on. That's some new inside joke that we have. It's not a tipple. It's
It's
a
a
triple.
triple.
Anyway. Yeah.
So no, much more benign than the fear of Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
It's the fear of chickens or hens.
Why is it called alecophobia?
I would assume that it's Latin for like electoros or chickens.
Or maybe
Look
they
at
just,
all those electoros.
I thought it was the fear of elections.
I thought it was the fear of Electra from Marvel.
I'm just scared of you know what? Well, Electra is not scary. She's intimidating.
Well, I don't know. Jennifer Garner can be pretty scary. Is it Jennifer Garner? It was one of the Jennifers.
Yeah, it's one of the Jennifers.
Whichever one was in the oh god, I've bloody forgotten his name now. Was it Ben Affleck that played Daredevil in the? No.
Oh, you're talking.
Well,
like,
this is before you were
yeah,
born.
you're
so-
talking like really old. I don't know
This is before the talkies. So this is
exactly. Yeah, before I said goo goo gaga. Beep.
exactly.
So should we reveal the ultimate phobia?
Well, here's your favorite one, so that you
Okay.
can say it. The fear of long words.
Hippopotamonstrossus quiptelophobia.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, this is the one I was thinking of. Globophobia.
Okay.
It's the fear of balloons.
Balloons.
That's the fear of balloons.
I saw it on my list
Yep.
too. Yeah, I was gonna say it, but I was like, is it too generic? Because people fear like popping balloons all the time.
Well, let's think. This is it's different from popping balloons. It's an actual fear of the balloons
Of the
themselves.
actual, yeah.
Yeah.
So, would you say that those people are afraid of any kind of rubber, and thus their partners suffer because of it, because they can't have,
Especially if they've got a latex fetish.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I was just referring to a condom, but you're diving into the BDSM here.
Not here to kink shame.
Okay, sure, why not? Anyway, moving on before we dive into the world of people who are afraid of sex.
Yeah, that comes. Episode number 100 is going to be the BDSM cast.
So okay, I was showing
Live from the AVN Awards in Las Vegas.
That reminds me of, because I was showing you like the Brennan Lee Mulligan CEO series on College Humor.
Classic.
And he mentioned they're trying to remove all the oh god, where's the host? Okay, they were trying to remove all the graphic like.
Why did you
content.
censor that word?
Because there's kids who are listening to this.
Are there?
Yeah. So
Not at the minute. I just talked about Alec Baldwin.
So they were like, he was like joking about how Venmo was going to remove all that kind of content, like the adult content from their platform. And he's like, that's why I started the BDSM tag. I wanted it to be about buddies doing social media. Anyway, so
It's
so-
the final fear now.
yeah. So here we go. So I think this deserves a drum roll. Where's the drum roll?
Where's the drummer gone?
Come on.
Is he in the pub again?
I think so. I mean,
Get back here. Why are you drinking all my alcohol?
well, I think he just, wanted to step out and have some alcohol. Where does... I mean, we can find the freaking rim shot easier than we can find the drum roll.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, drum roll, please. Thank you, little drummer boy, who stepped in for the drunk drummer guy.
Isn't that Little Drummer Boy?
Oh, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
how the melody goes. Anyway, so
It's Christmas in April.
yes, it's phobophobia, the fear of having a fear.
The fear of fears.
Yes, that's why I wanted to save it for last, because it's so meta. So it's technically the fear of being afraid.
So it's like
Yes,
Inception.
yes, fearception.
Fearception, yeah.
Yeah. So
Boom. That was one of the ones, was the boom.
Yeah.
That was, we don't have the boom.
we don't. Well, we do have the,
Oh my God.
and we do have the. Yeah. Oh, are you referring like to the? Is it the Vine boom or no?
No,
Or
the
is it like-
Inception. You know,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
boom.
Yeah. But anyway, so
No, we have the Vine boom.
yeah, we do have the Vine boom. I know that one. Yeah, it's one of the most recent ones.
Emotional
I
damage.
forgot about that one.
Emotional damage. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so
Tangent.
yeah, a little bit of a tangent, because this is like, you described this thing as an ADHD machine, and I still agree to that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But anyways,
I just look at what happened when I found the voice modulator.
yeah, exactly. So phobophobia, the fear of being afraid, is a great one to close out on.
Although my favorite thing I've done with the voice modulator.
No, stop it.
Harry Potter
Stop
come
it.
to die. The boy who lived.
You said it in the wrong order. It's Harry Potter, the boy who lived, come to die.
Either, whatever.
Okay.
That's the Aberlaw talking.
Okay. You don't
That's the
want
whiskey that
to.
I've been taking, by the way.
Yeah, you don't want to switch it up the way they switched up Dumbledore. Oh yeah, was it Dumbledore's reaction?
Did you put your name in the fire?
That one. He said calmly.
Jinx again. You owe me 2 sodas. We're gonna keep a tally of all the sodas we owe each other, right, on this podcast from now on.
When we get to the 100th episode, it's like who's in the net positive.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, anyway, so well, what is your question of the week, Nick?
Well, it would probably be, what is the weirdest phobia that you've ever heard of? I mean, I've already said mine. It's the fear of ducks. The fear of that somewhere in the world a duck is watching you.
For me, it's the one we ended on, which is phobophobia.
The fear of phobias.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
The
the
fear of
inception
being
phobia.
Yeah. Because how are you afraid of being afraid?
Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being afraid.
I know it's thank you for being a friend, but you know,
It
we
works.
can twist that to thank you for being afraid.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you everyone.
But then you'd reach it. Sorry. But then you'd reach
I
a
was about
paradox.
to outro, man.
Foiled again.
Okay.
That's not their voice, by the way.
Okay. Go on.
I ruined it. But then you'd have a paradox, because if you were afraid, then you would be afraid, and then you'd be more afraid. You just keep on being afraid.
I think
It would be a paradoxical phobia.
Would it be a catch-22?
It'd be a Rex Caricophalopatorius.
Yes. So if the fear of the slitty is
That was the other thing. It was the TARDIS noise. That's the other one that we
Yeah.
didn't put on here. Yeah. And the introduction to the...
Yeah. Yeah. Did you know that was played on a theremin? I did not know that. Yeah. So so the fear of the Slitheen is called Raxacoricophalopatoriphobia.
Try saying that 5 times fast. Jesus Christ.
Even just saying Raxacoricophalopatorius is already
Challenge enough.
yeah. Raxacoricophalopatori. Anyway, so before this episode becomes another power hour,
Oh, we've got 9 minutes left. We've got plenty of time.
before this episode becomes another power hour, thank you very
I
much.
wonder if there's a fear of tacos.
Nick.
Let me see if it's an actual thing.
Okay. It's gonna go on forever, dude.
Oh, there's no specific phobia called fear of tacos.
But is there a fear of food?
There's a fear of new experiences, which is neurophobia.
Okay.
Oh, no, there is tacophobia.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no, it's
Well,
not.
Oh.
It's
well,
tacophobia is the fear of childbirth.
that is so misleading. Next episode, we're going to be talking about misleading names and titles of things.
Are we?
No, we're not.
I was going to say. that
we
was
should.
misleading information.
Yeah, but we should. Anyway.
Speaking of tacos.
Speaking of tacos, if you do have tacophobia, the good tacophobia,
Yeah.
not the bad tacophobia, this is going to hurt a little for you, right? But we thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Nick, play us out.